Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Everybody please. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Louder please. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jai Vrindavana Sri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Sri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Sri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan Thank you very much. From Kaliyaghat, we visited the holy Samadhi Mandir of Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, one of the most worshipful saints of our Gaudiya Vaishnava line, whose living example and writings have inspired the hearts of millions over the centuries. Gaur Ganodesh Deepika identifies him as one of the 8 principal Sakis of Sri Radha Govinda's Leela, Tunga Vidya Saki. From there, we visited Sri Madan Mohan Temple, the original major temple of Vrindavan, the worshipable deity of Sri Sanatana Goswami. Just behind Madan Mohan Mandir is the Holy Samadhi Mandir of Srila Sanatana Goswami. He left his manifested Leela in this world on Guru Purnima at the Chakaleshwar Mahadev temple at Manasi Ganga in Govardhan, and his divine body was brought to the lotus feet of Sri Madan Mohanji by procession for his samadhi. There we also offered our worshipable obeisances to the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatana Goswami and the special well that Madan Mohan specifically created that well to provide very sweet nectarine drinking water for Sanatana Goswami and for his worship of the deities. Then we came to Imlital. All of you went and circumambulated the Imlital. It may have been some trouble, but to come to Vrindavan without circumambulating and offering our prayers at this holy place would not be the same. I understand with 2,000 people trying to do parikrama around a tree, it takes some time and patience, but the eternal spiritual benefits will be profound. Imlital is a place where when Sri Radharani left the Sarat Purnima Rasa dance that we read of in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna was searching for her in separation. And he sat under this eternal kalpavriksha, tamarind tree. The mood of separation increases the anticipation for meeting, and thus very much increases the intensity of love. So Krishna, in this feeling of separation, became so completely absorbed in the thoughts of Srimati Radharani, chanting her holy names, that his body assumed the color of Srimati Radharani. Actually, he became like Radharani. He became Radharani. Intense ecstasy. In that mood, Srimati Radharani appeared and saw him in that form. And then his separation was relieved, and he again assumed his original form of Shyam Sundar. Srimati Radharani asked him, "What is it that I have seen?" And Krishna told that in my intense ecstasies of separation, I assumed your form, your complexion, and your ecstatic love. In the age of Kali, I will appear like this. I will appear with your complexion and with your mood of ecstatic love, and I will spread that love throughout the world to all living beings who will accept through the Sankirtan movement, the loud congregational chanting. According to his word, Lord Sri Krishna appears within this age of Kali only once in the day of Brahma as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Vikritya Radini Shaktirasma. The form of Sri Radha in Krishna. Swarup Damodar Goswami explains the Supreme Absolute Truth is one, but becomes two for the sake of loving exchange. Radha Govinda. But they have again become one in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is explained in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is contemplating that Srimati Radharani's happiness in her love for me is tens and millions of times greater than my happiness. Although I am the source of all happiness and the supreme reservoir of all bliss. So I will descend with her form and complexion to taste the nectar of her love and to distribute it as Yuga Avatar in this world. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan and he was residing at Akrura Ghat. But every day he would come to Imlita, which was then right on the banks of River Yamuna, and for hours and hours with his japamala he would deeply absorb himself in chanting the holy names. Imlital then was a very secluded place in a dense forest. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in that seclusion, absorbed in his japa of chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In the mood of Sri Radharani, he would become so deeply immersed in the ocean of separation from Shyam Sundar that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's illustrious golden form would transform into the complexion of a dark, newly formed monsoon rain cloud. That is Imlita. Srila Prabhupada would often visit Imlita. In fact, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his followers purchased that land and built a beautiful Gaudiya Mat there. One of Prabhupada's godbrothers' samadhis is there just beside the holy Kalpa Vriksha tree. And I remember one of Prabhupada's very loving godbrothers, Srila Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, practically each and every Ekadasi, he would come to Imli Chao under that tree. He would come around the time of sunset and he would sit and chant japa of the holy name until after sunrise. That was his Ekadasi regulation. Very sacred and holy place. And those who pray for pure unalloyed devotional service will certainly attain it by the grace of this Kalpa Vriksha tree in due course of time. We are sitting in another very holy place, which is glorified profoundly within our Vaishnava scriptures, Sringar Vat. We read in the 10th canto the words of Sri Sukadev Goswami that Krishna played his flute, Bamsi, at the Bamsi Vat on bank of Jamuna, and the Braj Gopis abandoned everything near and dear to them with the exclusive purpose to satisfy Krishna. They left the safety of their homes, their loving relatives, even their prestige within society. He didn't even consider any relevance when Krishna was calling them. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained when Krishna played his flute, it was like a divine bird entering through the ears of the gopis and making a nest so that nothing else could come in or out. It captivated their hearts. The sound of Krishna was like Hari, the supreme thief. And through the music of his flute, he stole the hearts of gopis. He plundered the treasure house of their hearts and took everything away from them, so that all that was left was their loving desire to please him. The sound of Krishna's flute was like a string, and they were like puppets that brought them to Bamsi Vat. Krishna tested their love and sent them home. But they wept and pleaded that we have given our hearts, our lives, our everything to you. So then Krishna began to perform beautiful pastimes of Ras Leela with gopis. Srimati Radharani, she understood Krishna's heart, that ultimately he wanted to be with her. So for Krishna's pleasure, she appeared to be disturbed that why so many lesser realized gopis are dancing with Krishna. So she left the Rasa Leela. Now it is explained that every one of these gopis is millions and millions of times more beautiful and loving than the goddess of fortune. In fact, all the goddesses of fortunes of all the Vaikuntha planets accumulated do not have the love of a single gopi. And Krishna was dancing amongst them. But when Srimati Radharani departed, his heart became vacant of all pleasure. In this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami reveals the supreme glory of Krishna's Vladini Shakti, Srimati Radharani. She left, so Krishna suddenly disappeared from the whole assembly of gopis in Ras Leela, only to search for Srimati Radharani. We have briefly explained one incident that took place at Imlita. Krishna was searching and searching. Srimati Radharani came to this place, Sringar Vat, where she was sitting and waiting for her beloved. And Krishna came here and meted her. With his own hands, Krishna picked the flowers that grew in the grove of this kunja and personally decorated Srimati Radharani's hair. Thus, this beautiful painting depicts this historical, treasurable, and worshipable pastime, where the Supreme Absolute Truth, the cause of all causes, who appears in Vrindavan as a simple cowherd boy, becomes like the servant to please Srimati Radharani. Krishna is conquered by the love of his devotee. So he was performing so many nice services. And thus their hearts were so very satisfied. But meanwhile, the other gopis in separation were searching everywhere. They were maddened, completely, totally absorbed in Krishna. They were chanting his names and performing his various pastimes. They were wandering through the groves, asking the trees and the creepers and the stars and the moon and the animals of Braj, have you seen Govinda, the son of Nanda? And Krishna heard them coming from this kunja at Sringar Vat, and he understood that he and Sri Radharani would be discovered. So he told Srimati Radharani, let us go, let us go. She said, I am too tired. I am too tired. I cannot walk. If you carry me, I can go. So Krishna said, yes, I will carry you. And he bent down for her to get upon his shoulders. And just when she was about to get on his shoulders, Shyam Sundar disappeared to leave Srimati Radharani in an ocean of separation. Now we understand that Krishna performed this disappearing lila really to increase the loving nature of this lila. But also on another level, Krishna wanted to teach that whoever a devotee is, if they have pride in their heart, he will disappear. The gopis were all feeling so much pride because each one was thinking Krishna's only with me. They weren't proud of themselves. They were proud of their good fortune. But Krishna left them because of that. And then Srimati Radharani also was feeling Krishna has left everyone also for me. So Krishna left her. Trinadapi sunichena tharo iva suhishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sada. From a level of instruction, the acharyas teach us that Krishna never tolerates pride in the heart of any devotee, whoever they may be. Of course, in this instant, that pride was completely pure and ecstatic. And Krishna utilized this opportunity to make his pastimes more pleasing. So that is Sringar Vat. It is a very, very holy, sacred place. And since time immemorial, devotees have come to worship and to pray in this very confidential and sacred environment. It was also Sringar Vat, a very favorite place of Lord Sri Balaramji. Because actually when Krishna and Gopas would be herding cows along Yamuna, Subal, Stoka Krishna, Sridama, Madhumangal, Arjuna, Ujjvala, Gandharvika, or Gandharva, all of these Gopas would bring Krishna here and they would decorate his hair and his body with beautiful flowers and minerals and peacock feathers and like that, Gunjamala. It is the place where the cowherd boys would decorate Krishna with the natural, beautiful ornaments of the forest, and the place where Krishna would decorate Srimati Radharani. When Nityananda Prabhu was living in Vrindavan, he traveled throughout the 12 forests. And for some time he lived here. Bhakti Ratnakar as well as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat explain when Nityananda Prabhu was living here at Nityananda Bhat, which is another name for this place, he was in the mood of a cowherd boy, in the mood of Sri Balaramji. He would bathe in Yamuna and play all little games in Yamuna with the cowherd boys who were residing here at that time. And he was in the mood of a small child. Just, although he was a great acharya, he was in the mood of a child, just splashing water and playing games, just like a cowherd boy, in his mood of Balaramji. And sometimes in separation from Krishna, he would cry and cry and cry, Kanaya, 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 have you seen? And he would go to the Brijabasis asking, have you seen my brother? Have you seen Govinda? And it was here at Nityananda Bhat that Sri Nityananda Prabhu received the transcendental information that Nimai Pandit had gone to Gaya, taken Diksha from Ishwara Puri, and has returned to Navadvip Dham and has established the Harinam Sankirtan movement, and he's waiting only for you. From here, Nityananda Prabhu departed from Vrindavan and went to Sri Navadvip Dham. He hid in the house of Nandanacharya. Lord Chaitanya spoke to his devotees that he had a dream. We're on a beautiful chariot that had the power to take one back to the spiritual world. He saw a beautiful personality with a complexion like a spring rain cloud, beautiful lotus eyes. He carried a plow on his shoulder and beautiful blue turban and gowns. He had one beautiful earring in his ear. He was intoxicated with ecstatic love, and he kept saying over and over again, is this the house of Nimai Pandit? Is this the house of Nimai Pandit? Is this the house of Nimai Pandit? And Lord Chaitanya said, I sought that great person in this dream. And I asked him, who are you? And he said to me, I am your brother, and tomorrow we will meet and get to know each other. I believed that this was Lord Balaram himself who has come. He sent Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur everywhere to search for him. They looked and looked and looked at every bathing ghat, at every home, at every marketplace. And came back and said, we cannot find any person like this anywhere. Lord Chaitanya said that Nityananda Prabhu is very mysterious. He cannot be found easily. And then he got up and immediately walked with his devotees to the house of Nandanacharya, where he saw Nityananda Prabhu standing on the veranda. Lord Chaitanya personally offered his obeisances with all the devotees, and Nityananda Prabhu fell unconscious in ecstasy upon seeing the Lord. It was a beautiful meeting. The ecstatic, loving emotions of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda when they first met during their earthly lila is something that can never be understood except through their causeless mercy. Lord Nityananda said, I travel to all the holy places but I saw that the deities were not in the temple. I asked, where is Krishna? And wherever I went, they told me, he is now in Navadvip, doing his Sankirtan movement. So I have come here to Navadvip. And it was then that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Haridas Thakur, after performing his Vyas Puja, of course, Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu to appeal to everyone, whoever they may be, and beg them for this charity. Chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, hear about Krishna. Krishna's your mother, Krishna's your father. Krishna's the treasure of your life. Krishna is your very life and soul. And Nityananda Prabhu carried this message wherever he went and exclaimed, anyone who chants the holy names of Krishna, anyone who worships my Gauranga in this way becomes my life and soul. So here at Sringar Vat, also known as Nityananda Vat, we have come by the causeless mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu's beloved representative, Srila Prabhupada. We have come in the assembly of so many enthusiastic and effulgent Vaishnavas. Let us offer our sincere gratitude in this place. Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Goda Chandra. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are supremely kind. Why? Kevala Ananda Kanda. Bhaja 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 Chaitanya Nitai. Lochandas Thakur says, just worship these brothers, Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. They are the essence of all avatars. The most merciful. They have come to give the supreme treasure of the love of Sri Vrindavan Dham and made it available to everyone through Nam Sankirtan, through chanting of the holy name. Let us sincerely pray that we could make as our ultimate aspiration in life to be an instrument of Nityananda Prabhu's causeless mercy in this world, in the spirit of the servant of his loving servants. From here we will go to Chirgat. There are two Chirgats in Brajbhumi, one which is further away on Yamuna, which is the place where gopis perform their Katyayani Puja, and Krishna, to fulfill their desires to have him as husband, very mercifully stole their clothes and brought them upon a very holy Kadamba tree. Here in Vrindavan, during Ras Leela, during bathing in Yamuna, Krishna also stole gopis' clothes and performed the same type of Leela there. And devotees of Vrindavan, they worship this tree and even make offerings to this tree. Because as long as we are attached to the clothes of the gross outer coverings of our subtle and gross bodies, we cannot really give Krishna pleasure. The soul must be purified of all gross and subtle desires. So devotees at Chirgat and pray, Krishna, please, here I offer my life. I offer my false ego, my everything. I take it all away. So that my true self can be given as an offering at your lotus feet. So at Chirgat, we may not have things to offer on strings like the Vrajavasis do, but in our prayer, let us pray to be relieved of our false egos so that we could offer Krishna our very lives, our minds, our bodies, our words, our lives. That is true perfection. And under that holy Kalpavriksha tree, our prayers will be heard and answered if offered sincerely. From there, Chirgat, we will proceed to Keshigat, where we'll have a short narration about the significance of that place. Then we will cross the Yamuna on boats and take holy bath to purify our hearts. Thank you very much. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Louder, please. What is the use of there being 2,000 of you if you can't chant loudly? Hare